Oceanagan, Uwahat Dawado, Galieli Dijedo, Jalagi Kawanis Kanivisas Ktavilawistaneho, Ale Jalek Degadetquask, Aseno Kohusa Dawadatana. Osio, and welcome to the second annual Cherokee Phoenix Seven Feathers Awards Gala. I'm former Miss Cherokee, Kristen Thomas. Just like much of 2020, this year's awards gala is not exactly a normal awards banquet. Our 2020 awards ceremony is being held virtually due to the COVID-19 pandemic. However, we're still incredibly excited to recognize our 7 honorees for their work, and thank you for joining us from wherever you may be watching. Before we begin our virtual awards ceremony, I would like to hold a brief moment of silence for those individuals and their families who have lost loved ones during this pandemic. Wado. Tonight is a special occasion where the Cherokee Phoenix has the opportunity to honor those who have gone above and beyond to make significant impacts in the areas of language, culture, community, service, education, health, and business. Their contributions make their families, friends, communities, and Cherokee people proud. Congratulations to each of you who will receive recognition tonight. While receiving awards is nice, none of tonight's awardees did their good deeds with the goal of attaining recognition. You've led, served, sacrificed, and created because you love what you do and you have a heart for the Cherokee people. To all of the family, friends, colleagues of tonight's honorees, you have every right to feel proud of your loved ones' accomplishments, service, and beautiful work. Their legacies are a part of the Cherokee people's legacies, and we're certainly proud of them too. Before I get to our honorees, I would like to introduce Principal Chief Chuck Hoskin Jr., who has provided a few remarks on tonight's virtual ceremony.
Osio, I'm Cherokee Nation Principal Chief Chuck Hoskin Jr. I'd like to extend a special welcome and also a sincere congratulations to our distinguished honorees. Receiving this award from the Cherokee Phoenix is a special occasion to honor Cherokees who are making a real and tangible difference for our people and our sovereign government. The men and women chosen by our newspaper of record make significant impacts in the areas of Cherokee language preservation, cultural awareness, community service, education, health and wellness, and business. These honorees have led, served, sacrificed, and created a legacy for generations of Cherokees to follow and emulate. Each of them should feel proud of this special award. More importantly, Cherokee people across the country should be proud of their service and their work. I know, along with the Deputy Chief, our administration is certainly proud. The Cherokee Phoenix, even through the COVID-19 pandemic, remains an essential source of news and information for Cherokee citizens. Now, more than ever, our people need to feel that connection. Across 3 centuries, the Cherokee Phoenix, with independence and integrity, has also been vital to our democracy and a shining example of Native journalism worldwide. Thanks to the team at the Phoenix for organizing this annual event and for recognizing Cherokees for their long-term contributions.
Wado Chief. Now, it is my pleasure to introduce Deputy Chief Brian Warner, who also wanted to share some brief thoughts with us tonight.
CO, as Deputy Chief of the Cherokee Nation, I am honored to participate in the Cherokee Phoenix 7 Feather Virtual Awards Ceremony. I commend the newspaper and its staff for continuing on with this ceremony and for doing it safe and in a respectful way. Because of the global pandemic, we are not able to gather in person and celebrate like we normally have. But these special honorees deserve for their talents and contributions to be praised and appreciated. The 2020 Seven Feather Award class is fully deserving of this achievement. What makes these awards unique is that the readers of the Phoenix nominate them. Each and every one of them is selfless when it comes to lifting up the Cherokee people and celebrating and sharing in our unique culture. In the Cherokee way, the number 7 is sacred because of the 7 Cherokee clans. And the decisions we make are done with the next 7 generations in mind. And that's why these winners are so significant. They don't take action for an award or to seek attention. None of these awardees have done the things they are being recognized for the goal of attaining an award. They simply want to make the future better and brighter for the Cherokee people. They have earned this honor because they embody our values, our community, and our family, and all of our culture. Congratulations to each of these winners. You have gone above and beyond in serving the public and making the Cherokee Nation proud. Wado.
And now, for the moments which we have virtually gathered here tonight, presenting our honorees with their awards and letting you know just a little more about their stories. Each of these honorees were nominated by individuals who recognize the significance of their honorees' work and positive impacts that each one has made in their community. As I announce each winner, we will play a short video highlighting each honoree's work, showcasing why they were so deserving of this recognition. Without further ado, let's get started with the awards presentation, starting with the Seven Feathers Business Award. The Seven Feathers Business Award is given in recognition of a Cherokee who uses his or her success as a business owner or professional to help a community and its citizens. Tonight's Seven Feathers Business Award recipient is Tyler Forkiller.
I started mowing lawns whenever I was, I want to say it was my junior year of high school. I was down at our house we used to live in with my dad, and he made a suggestion that I should mow some lawns, for some side money, So that's kind of where it started, there through the couple years of high school. And then when I was in college, I slowly would pick up a few more accounts here and there. But I wanted to say the first year that I started, I probably had just 5 or 6 accounts, just some gas money, spending money, try to take the burden off my parents a little bit. But, then after college, it kind of snowballed a little bit. I got my bachelor's degree here from Northeastern State, and had intentions of going on the road and doing some oil and gas stuff, but deal kind of fell through. So I kind of looked at the business and what I thought it might could do, in a couple years and stuff. So I went out on a limb and, just went at it full time, right as I think I graduated in May of 16, and then right after that, that was my everyday job, and it's really snowballed, in 4 years. We do a lot more than what we did back then. I'm wanting to say we maintained probably 150 accounts, I would say. That's mowing, the kind of the lawn maintenance type deal is what we would call it. But yeah, I would say I haven't looked in a while, but I would say somewhere around 150, 160 is a pretty close number as far as, weekly and bi-weekly mowing accounts that we service.
I've been around Tyler, I guess, since about my freshman year in high school, playing baseball, always at the ballpark. Tyler was younger at the point in time. I'm about 4 years older than Tyler is, and he was always at the ballpark. Everywhere you went, there was a ball game. Tyler was always there. The work that Tyler does, especially in his home community, there's a whole bunch of it that goes unnoticed. He's always willing to pitch in and help anyone that needs any kind of assistance. And he goes above and beyond in the fact that he's not worried about what's in it for Tyler. It's what he can do to help, always, with Tyler.
Really enjoy helping people out, when I can. It's always been something that, my parents have taught me, my grandparents have taught me and stuff. And I don't really hang my hat on it or anything. I just think that that's what you're supposed to do, and to be not nominated for that, it's really an honor.
The Seven Feathers Award, to me, Tyler stands out as a prime candidate, not only because of his successful business, his role in that business and him helping the community, especially in southern Adair County, that plays a large part in it, in my opinion.
Wow, it's so wonderful to see a young Cherokee business owner not only succeeding, but also using that success to give back. Join me in welcoming and congratulating our 2020 Seven Feathers Business Award honoree, Tyler Forkiller.
I'd like to thank the Cherokee Phoenix for choosing me to receive an award like this. It's a really cool deal, and it's truly an honor. Throughout the week, I'm normally always on my phone doing something business-wise. It seems like the phone never stops ringing, but you know, if I can help somebody during the week or on the weekends, just friends, family, just anybody in my community, you know, I really enjoy doing that. And, very humble to be in a position, you know, to be able to do that. And hopefully as the years go on, I can maybe even be in a better platform that I am now, you know, and be able to help and give back to my community. I really enjoy doing that.
Thank you, Tyler. Our next award is the Seven Feathers Community Award. The Seven Feathers Community Award is given to a Cherokee who goes above and beyond to serve his or her community. Tonight's recipient is Ellie Johnson.
Ellie's Hope Factory started when I was missing friends and family and I couldn't talk to them in person, so I started writing letters and I really liked it, so I kept writing.
Ellie was missing her friends from school and church and her family whenever school let out in the spring because of the coronavirus. So I suggested that she might write to some of her friends, and it turned out she really loved it and just wrote and wrote and wrote lots and lots of letters, and she started getting letters back in the mail, which was exciting to her. So it just became a thing that we decided we would put online, create a Facebook page for it so that hopefully other kids and adults too would be able to write to their family and friends. We got a great response. A lot of people wrote back letters to her, would ask for our address so that they could write to her, and then she would write back to them. She has a few people that she still writes back and forth to, and she's still writing letters. She slowed down a lot since school started back, but she is still writing letters, and we're still working on a project for the nursing home. She has lots of coloring sheets colored that other people have helped her color for those.
We're still writing letters and we're working on a project for the nursing home with coloring sheets so they could hang them in their room. And I've already sent out a whole big packet and we will be sending out more.
She writes super simple letters. She's 7, and so I have tried really hard to let her do her own thing. They're pretty short and sweet, although they've gotten a little bit longer. She just talks about things that 7-year-olds like to talk about, and she always asks if they can write back to her, and a lot of times they do.
When I saw what Ellie was doing, it kind of resonated with me because I used to do that 5 or 6 years ago. I would send people letters and thank you cards and letters to tell them how they'd changed my life. So when I saw what she was doing, that just inspired me to encourage that. So I began to send her just little notes of encouragement and stickers and things that she could use to send out more letters of hope. And then she would send me back a letter, and we just kind of have kept going back and forth with that.
We were surprised whenever we found out that she was going to receive a Seven Feathers Award. We didn't intend for it to be something that was done for an award or anything like that, but it's really just something that she has enjoyed, and I think a lot of other people have enjoyed writing, and kind of nice to go to your mailbox and get something out. So we were thrilled and very appreciative to receive it.
Ellie inspires me because as a little girl, she gets it, where I think sometimes us as adults have forgotten, what it's all about. We get busy in life and we don't make those connections with people. We don't reach out to people. We text, we tweet, we instant message, but that a little girl could take just a small idea and turn it into something as big as she has. We could all use an Ellie in our lives.
What a wonderful idea and action to bring some joy and sunshine into a stormy time in our lives. Join me in welcoming and congratulating our 2020 Seven Feathers Community Award honoree, Ellie Johnson.
I'd like to thank the Cherokee Phoenix for this award. It is very special to me. I'd like to thank the people who have wrote to me and the people who are still writing to spread hope.
Wow, great work. Thank you, Ellie. Next, it's time to recognize our Seven Feathers Cultural Award recipient. The Seven Feathers Cultural Award is given in recognition of an individual who works to promote and educate Cherokees and non-Cherokees alike on our history, heritage, art, and culture. Tonight's honoree is Julie Thornton Bryson.
I started sewing when I was 3 years old. I started in my grandma's lap, and she told me, you need to put your hands here, just teaching me basics. And then she taught me how to sew by hand. And so she would have me sew like corners and stuff like that. My mom's mom is a seamstress. That's what she's done her entire life. And so I've kind of been surrounded by like sewing and seamstresses and like the entire like clothing industry like from a very young age. So the first like art deal that I kind of started doing, so to say, Robert Lewis taught me how to finger weave. So I did it one like row and I was like, oh, I can do this. And then I took off with it. I loved it. I've been doing that for almost 10 years now. So now I make feather capes. I sew ribbon skirts. I sew 18th century regalia. I sew tear dresses and stomp skirts. I make moccasins and any type of leather stuff. I bead. Just pretty much anything that I can kind of get my hands on and try, I'm willing to try it. My life got turned upside around and upside down and backwards and underwater a few years ago. I have a disease that's called HM or FHM, and basically it causes me to become paralyzed on one side of my body. So when I have an attack, I can't speak, I can't think, I can't really communicate in any shape, way, or form. It's basically like I'm having a stroke over and over again with each attack. So it's kind of changed our entire world. Like we've had to do things differently, and it's not necessarily that I've had to stop doing things, I just have to do things differently now. Thankfully, my parents are very, very, very helpful, and my husband is too. There's a lot to kind of navigate around. I take everything in at full capacity. Like something little to somebody else would not necessarily be little to me. Me being able to like pass on something to my child. That's absolutely what my goal in life is to do, is to pass on everything that I know that my kiddo wants to learn. I'm gonna try and help her, teach her, and teach anybody. Because if we don't do that, then it's just gonna basically fall apart and we're gonna cease to exist. So I'm really thankful. Like this has given me an opportunity to share it to other people that I not necessarily would have like had the contact with. But because of the article and because of this award, they were able to find somebody that could help them. And that's kind of my whole goal with everything.
It makes me very proud to see her go from not wanting to do anything to wanting to do everything. I kept it to myself for a long time. Until she won the award, actually. I nominated her for it last year too, but they chose someone else, which is fine. Everybody deserves a chance. So when the nominations came out, I went ahead and nominated her again. This time, it came through for her. She's come to know a lot of people in the nation who even look up to her, so I think it's well deserved.
As a former Miss Cherokee, it always encourages me to see fellow Miss Cherokees continuing their work to promote the tribe and its culture. And to see them receive recognition for that work, it just warms my heart. Please join me in welcoming and congratulating our 2020 Seven Feathers Cultural Award honoree, Julie Thornton Bryson.
CO, I just wanted to take the time to thank the Cherokee Phoenix and each and every one of you for this wonderful opportunity. I've spent the better part of 20 years of my life dedicated to the Cherokee Nation and preserving our culture, whether that's in making baskets and teaching people how to make baskets, feather capes or finger weaving or sewing tear dresses or stomp skirts. The list goes on and on. My whole job, what I have done for the last 20 years, is to be a servant, and I want to continue that for the rest of my life. I feel like that has been my calling, and I enjoy it so much. It brings me such joy to help people and help people preserve our culture, because if we're not doing this now, in 7 generations it will be gone. So we need to prepare for the next 7 generations as we move on. I just wanted to reach out to you guys and just say that if you ever need anything in regards to culture, if I can't help you, I'd be more than willing to find somebody. Or if you have any questions, if I don't have the answer, I will find out for you. But I just wanted to thank you guys for this award and for this opportunity. Wado.
Congratulations and thank you, Julie. Our next award is the Seven Feathers Education Award. The Seven Feathers Education Award is given to a Cherokee who works diligently to promote and provide educational opportunities and experiences in hopes of helping individuals achieve their maximum success. Tonight's Seven Feathers Education Award recipient is Joyce Rock.
I never ever had any idea that I would be a teacher. My mom went to the 7th grade, my dad to the 3rd grade. No one in my family had ever gone to college. My older sister was the first one that ever graduated high school. I had dropped out of high school and was working in a daycare center after my children were born. And the lady that owned the daycare, the preschool teacher quit. And so she put me in there as a substitute, and after a week or so, she says, you know, you're really good at this. Have you ever thought about going back to school and being a teacher? And so she's the one that really helped me actually go back to college. And so during college, I worked at the daycare part-time, and then I went to school. I think that especially starting out, there was so much that I didn't know because there was no one in my family, in my background, that I could ask questions about as far as, you know, as a teacher, how do you do this? How do you do that? You know, am I supposed to do this? So I just kind of made up things as I went along. And whatever worked, I did it. And if it didn't work, I didn't do it for me. So I think that that's one of the things that made me really relate well with my students, is I didn't have any preconceived ideas of what a teacher or what a principal or anything like that would do. So I did whatever I thought would work, and evidently it did. When I look back and I went to a lot of different schools growing up. So when I look back at the teachers that I had, there's a few that really stand out. You want your students to remember you. And they're going to either, if they remember you, they're going to remember you because you were really good or because you were really bad. And I wanted mine to remember me because I was really good. When I heard that I was selected for the Seven Feathers Award, it was very humbling to me. And I felt very humbled every time I've ever received an award in education. Because my job as an educator, my career as an educator, I've never considered it to be about me. It's about the students. It's always been about the students for me. I have some letters, I have some different things that my students have said about me over the years. This is probably back from Jill would have graduated in about 1994. So it was before then. And I had taken her to an ACES conference at OSU, her and another student. And she says that this weekend not only gave me the opportunity to see the OSU campus and learn how some Native Americans are treated, but it also gave me the chance to get to know you and the other girl that I had taken. This is why I kept this letter. I want to commend you on your patience in the classroom and also for making geometry fun. In the discussion group that we had, so many people had bad things to say about their math teachers. I couldn't really think of one to say about you, and believe me, I tried. So I just thought that you should know that someone's out there noticing that the difference you are making in the classroom. My advice to my students, though, is to do what makes you happy. To do what makes you happy. And I do think that being a teacher can make you really, really happy because you touch the lives of many people.
What a legacy to have. Everyone, please join me welcoming and congratulating our 2020 Seven Feathers Award honoree, Joyce Rock.
I would like to thank Cherokee Phoenix for choosing me as the Seven Feathers awardee. As I look back over my career in education, it's very humbling to think of all of the opportunities that I've had to share in the lives of many wonderful young people. Throughout my adventures in education, I have always tried to keep my focus on the needs of the students because it's my students that have made me a successful educator.
Thank you, Joyce, for your remarks and your work in education. Next, we present the Seven Feathers Health Award. The Seven Feathers Health Award is given to a Cherokee who works to promote a healthy lifestyle or to bring awareness to health issues that have been stigmatized. Tonight's Seven Feathers Health Award recipient is Joshua Hobgood.
I enlisted in the Marine Corps July of 2000 and served through July of 2005. I served for 5 years. Since separating from the military, I've always had a desire to connect with other veterans. I was introduced to waterfowl hunting, which is hunting for ducks and geese. in late 2017, and I found it as a very cathartic experience, a very healing type of experience that I wanted to share. And so I used waterfowl hunting as kind of a nexus to start the organization. After running the organization for a few months, I realized that the waterfowl season only runs from November to February. And so we created fishing and a social program to kind of fill the gap. These are multi-day events. So yes, it's focused on the outdoors, and yes, it gives the veterans time to hunt or fish, but the majority of the time is spent in the lull or the breaks in the actual activity, talking and conversing. And these are veterans who are Vietnam era veterans to even actively serving, and they really can mentor and counsel each other when it comes to what are the hardships you've experienced in your service and in your separation and in your transition. What have I experienced? I self-nominated, and I didn't think it would go anywhere, but to actually see that picked up and recognized in such a broad category as health, it reaffirmed what I was doing.
I started with black dog hunting mostly as a photographer. We were supposed to do an event in February, but the coronavirus canceled that. But we've stayed in contact, and recently just returned from Louisiana with a duck hunting trip where 8 other veterans attended. I shot photographs for that, but being a veteran myself, I get to partake in all of the discussions or just the peer-to-peer mentoring that Black Dog is built around. I retired in 2019. Once you get out, you lose a connection between, the service members you've been around all the time. So it's quite lonely, actually. But Black Dog hunting brings the veterans back together, gives them an opportunity to interact as they would if they were still in. I believe in what Josh was doing with black dog hunting, a lot. It's helped me. Kind of gives you a second purpose to try and get more veterans to connect and, give them an outlet if they need it.
Black Dog reached out to us the first year we were starting our business to book a trip with us. It was a natural fit for us when the veterans showed up. They, their walls kind of came down once they realized they were among people that, cared genuinely about their well-being and about getting to know them, not necessarily about what they've been through, but just getting to know them. Black Dog's having an impact on people that need support, which is, it's really an honor of ours to be a part of that.
Such an honorable effort to provide the mental health support needed to those men and women who sacrifice so much. Please join me in welcoming and congratulating our 2020 Seven Feathers Health Award honoree, Joshua Hobgood.
A great big thank you to the Cherokee Phoenix for being selected as the 2020 Seven Feathers Award recipient in the category of health. Black Dog Hunting was founded in September of 2018 with the mission of connecting and healing veterans through the outdoors. In an environment of peer-based mentoring and counseling. So connecting veterans together with their peers is what we do, and we do it across the country. I want to thank the many veterans who have joined us, not only for their service, but also their participation in a mission that I feel strongly about. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Joshua, for your service, and congratulations tonight. Our next award is the Seven Feathers Language Award. The Seven Feathers Language Award is given to a Cherokee who works tirelessly to not only preserve the language, but to revitalize it. The 2020 Seven Feathers Language Award recipient is David Crawler.
As a translator for Cherokee Nation, I translate for the Cherokee Phoenix, the articles, put it in Cherokee language, translate here at the immersion. They need stuff all the time, so we help translate materials for the schools, and as well as North Carolina immersion school. We work with them, and just whatever you see at the hospitals, at the clinics, they have Cherokee written. We translate street signs and everything you see in Cherokee around here. It all started way back down in Marble City at that little old church where I really got the idea to learn from my Aunt Cynthia. She was the only one that read Cherokee in our church. Of course, we had an uncle. He was a preacher, and he would tell his sister, "Could you read that passage in Cherokee for me?" And she would get up in a church, and she'd open up that Bible and read it. And I thought, boy, that sure is something to me, you know. She can read our own language. And so I talked to my grandmother, and she gave me a piece of paper, and it had all them syllabary on there, and she would sound them out. So I learned a little bit then, you know, but I was just a child, you know. But I never did think about it later on until I got into high school, and I met Durbin Phelan, and he said, hey, Chooch, he talked to me in Cherokee, you know. He said, I'll have a class at the evening. Why don't you come to my class and learn how to read Cherokee? I said, I know a little bit. I can get by, you know. He said, but I want you to learn good. So I started his class, and I remembered a lot of what I learned from my grandparents, you know, my grandmother especially. But that's where I got to want to learn, through my Aunt Cynthia. And I thought that was an honor, you know, that they chose me for that award. I can teach somebody, I can talk to somebody in Cherokee. That's the thing that I cannot fail at. But I think everybody should be learning. That's what we need to save our language.
David has been instrumental in the success of many of our language learners here in the program, professionally and just as a supportive community member. He's taken a lot of our students under his wing and spent a lot of time with them after hours, and he's there to answer any question that they have in the language. And he's developed a really close relationship and rapport with our language learners, which is difficult sometimes for our learners who perhaps don't have family who are speakers. He's one example of the individuals that really support and hold up our program and the learners. No work within our tribe is as important as the work to strengthen our language. And those who do it are to be thanked and recognized every chance we get. Please join me in welcoming and congratulating our 2020 Seven Feathers Language Award honoree, David Crawler.
David Crawler, I know the guy next diski Jalagiga, Dega Neho, Jadani no Jahaskotico Whaley, Jalaga Yehli.
Galieli Jisiha. Wado. Thank you so much for your work, David, to promote and to grow our language, and congratulations on your award tonight. Our final award tonight is the Seven Feather Service Award. The Seven Feather Service Award is given to a Cherokee who has recognized and addressed a need within his or her community by providing or developing a program that provides a service that is bettering the lives of Cherokees and non-Cherokees alike. Tonight's Seven Feathers Service Award recipient is Elizabeth Reeve.
Right now I am in a bed because I have COVID. I'm using a wheelchair, and the reason I'm in a wheelchair is because of the fact that whenever I was a special ed teacher, I had a back injury. We later on found out that I had the minute form of spina bifida, which is a spina bifida occulta. I ended up crashing because I lost my legs. I still have legs, but they have what is called neuropathy. And I also have MS, and I have diabetes. I grew up in the military life. My father is a Vietnam vet. My mother was civil service whenever she was younger. Well, whenever I was growing up. We grew up mostly in Germany because of traveling and everything. In 1987, we moved to Tahlequah, and that's when I got to start doing my FFA and my animals and stuff like that. And I always have a love for animals. I also had a love for being able to serve. My dad and mom was in the military. Well, my dad was military. Mom was civil service. We got a chance to go out and volunteer in different communities. We also got to serve the military men. I worked with the American Red Cross as a volunteer. I got a chance to work at the veterinarian clinic because I wanted to be a veterinarian whenever I was younger. I also got a chance to volunteer in my schools as a like a special ed assistant to the teachers. I was always doing something. All my life, I've always volunteered to do something and trying to help out where the good was. Servanthood is my lifestyle. Being able to work with people, see where the need is, and help out where the need is. Whenever I get to volunteer, it makes me feel like I'm giving to the better good, which is something that I love. Look at where your heart is. Look where your heart is. There's nursing homes, there's schools, there's every place that's needing volunteers. Go to your Cherokee First. See where the organizations are in Cherokee First. Look up different organizations, places that you would never think were 501c3s. They are, and they're always needing volunteers. There's never a lack of volunteers. So that is one of the reasons I do what I do, is because of the fact that everybody needs an opportunity to be a part of a community. And if you're able to serve others, that's the best part of the community you can be in.
Wow, such a tremendous story of service in your community. Join me in welcoming and congratulating our 2020 Seven Feathers Service Award honoree, Elizabeth Reeve.
OCO, Wado. My name is Elizabeth Reeve. I am Shalagi. I was chosen to be the Service Award winner for the Seven Feathers. I'd like to thank everybody that has considered me for this position, and thank you for the award that I have been given. I would like to thank the individuals in the community that have allowed me to volunteer many hours with my fostering, with my service dogs, and with my girls that I train. Under Robert Greenleaf, it says that in order to become a leader, one must first be a servant. And that is the reason why I serve. I serve because of the fact that I want to help the village. We are a village, the community, the nation. As Cherokee people, we should strive to be able to help each other under service and under being able to help. Whenever a community is in need, we should be able to help them. Whenever you see a neighbor that needs something, like an elder, a child, or anybody else, it is time to serve. I like to say thank you for allowing me the opportunity to accept this honor.
Thank you, Elizabeth, for your service, and congratulations on your award. And to everyone else out there who has joined us this evening from near and far, thank you for watching as we recognize these outstanding men and women who are impacting our communities and the lives of Cherokees. I truly hope that we can gather in person next year for the 3rd annual Cherokee Phoenix Seven Feathers Award Gala. But until then, it's really been an honor and a pleasure to be a part of this virtual award ceremony. At this time, I'd like to introduce the executive editor of the Cherokee Phoenix, Tyler Thomas, to deliver some closing remarks. Wado.
CO, thank you all for joining us virtually as we honored the 7 Cherokee men and women for their significant contributions. I also want to thank those who made tonight possible through their support, including Principal Chief Chuck Hoskin, Deputy Chief Brian Warner, the Council of the Cherokee Nation, the Editorial Board of the Cherokee Phoenix, our staff at the Cherokee Phoenix, and our sponsors of the Cherokee Phoenix Seven Feathers Awards Gala. Although we were not able to gather together in person tonight, we were so thrilled to share the stories of these 7 individuals with you through this digital format. Just as the Cherokee Phoenix has strived to empower the lives of Cherokee people by informing, educating, and holding our government and other governments accountable through our storytelling, reporting, photography, and videography, we believe these individuals embrace that same spirit and strive for the same ideal in their communities. They work diligently to help improve the lives of their communities through their work in cultural preservation, language revitalization, healthcare delivery and advocacy, education, economic development, and community service. They do this work with no expectation of being given an award. They do it because they truly care about their fellow Cherokees and community members, just as the Cherokee Phoenix has done throughout its storied history. In that spirit, it has been our great honor to host this virtual awards ceremony and recognize these individuals. Again, thank you for joining us, and please join us in congratulating the 2020 Cherokee Phoenix 7 Feathers Awards honorees. Wado, and good night.